The weather was fine. The sky was clear, the sun high in the air, and a cool breeze to neutralize everything. I looked all over the venue and made 180-degree spins. I smiled, filled with content and thankfulness. And at last, I had it all planned: the decorations, presents, program script, food, and a moon bounce. I'm thrilled that I was able to plan and organize this celebration. On a lighter note, today is my baby daughter's 18th birthday. She has been my sounding board, my maid of honor, and a true blessing. I just want her to feel special and loved tonight, which is the reason why I wanted to have an unforgettable birthday for her. The time is already 5, and we still have 1 more hour. Before going to the fitting area for the occasion, I reconfirmed everything. I checked that the catered food was enough. Tables/decorations were in place. I don't want anything to be misconstrued between us. It's her day, and she really needs this, my daughter. As soon as I had everything checked, I went straight to fitting and got ready for the grand event later. I want to be prepared for the birthday, which will going to cost even more energy. Everything must be perfect. As my hairstylist and makeup artist were assisting dress me for tonight, I was suddenly reminded of my husband. I was busy noticing everything inside the place that I had forgotten to call him. He rounded up the guests. I made an attempt to give him a call, but his phone was out of reach. Must be busy, I told myself. So I told the other coordinators we would finalize everything they need while we got ready. My daughter on the other side of the room. She was getting hair and makeup done by one of the top glam teams in beauty plus fashion. She looked gorg. They glammed her to FILTH. I cannot wait for our visitors to meet her. I still remember the day she became a part of our family. Lena is my daughter, and she definitely is Lena. It was the best day of our lives. We never thought we would have any more children after suffering miscarriage, but then our beautiful daughter came into the world. The instructive tone came back. Madam Ria, 30 minutes more. The guests are coming. So this is how it happened to us, entertainers. May it glow, live in the edge, and well go out there and entertain everyone, so I did. When I entered the obscenely decorated backyard, euphoria ran over me like a sweet wave. Finally, this is the one to which I have been looking forward. Simple words were not enough to thank everyone who helped me. They deserved the best. I glanced around. The coordinators had a really awesome job putting all of those final pieces together here and at Ready. I never regretted signing contract with them, and it was worth to have event planner from abroad. The room was decorated with bright balloons, glittery streamers, and a stunning birthday cake laid out right in the middle. My daughter would be right at home here. For Lena, fairy lighting was necessary to create a magical feel in the atmosphere. The attendees included family, friends, and my daughter's classmates. They had all begun blending and talking at this point with each other, their rambunctious laughter floating away. The wall in front of the room was abuzz with laughter and chatter, accompanied by upbeat music. They all seemed in good spirits and ready to celebrate. There was warmth and love pouring from the walls that were adorned with so much care in every little nook. Granolas were sticking to the walls, showing off my girl in her adorably problematic formative years all the way through awkward adolescence. It was like a walk through memory lane, and I could not stop but continue smiling from all the memories we made. This is a new day for her and our family. My family was on my side. They came and immediately hugged me with her crying sister-in-law in tow. My dear Maya, yes, grand. Just right for my granddaughter. I winked at her when we laughed out loud. Thanks, Mom, I learned from the best. As they served themselves at the banquet, I escorted her to taste some of their appetizer. Scent of the good food, something delicious was being cooked, and we could feel its smell. 5. I recognized some of the same eyes from my daughter's school, the staff. I had no idea my husband incorporated them additionally. It would be lovely to see them. They really mean so well. My husband has a heart of gold. I walked up to them and said hello. I informed them that I was Lena Mum, and I guess most importantly that put them on ease and they felt welcomed by my hospitality. I began to watch my husband trying to direct and lead other faculty. The moment he saw me, he moved towards me with a big smile. "What good stuff, you did a little bit of great work." He looked around the venue, clearly impressed, and he gave me a hug and then kissed my cheek. As we lay beside one another, he smiled at me as well. I could tell how proud he was of me. "Oh, hold on." He wheeled around to call a late-30s woman. She was slim and chiseled for her face. My ego was a little bruised, but it wasn't that big of a deal. She rolled up to us and my husband put a hand on her hips. I gasped and looked at where his hand was. He realized I saw him do it, but even that failed to stop him. I feigned indifference because I didn't want to be a raving lunatic. "Sweetie, this is Miss Ava, Lena's form teacher, my wife, Maya." "Miss Ava, everything would be vice if to meet you at last." Fiddle away the band played, and she offered me her hand. "Miss Ava," I also smiled back at her. It was somewhat tinged with a weird undertone, but I decided not to go any further into that. The lights lowered, the music slowed. A voiceover was telling the guests to take their seats, as the show would be starting soon. I was seated at the VIP table next to my husband. Veiled bowed, the only music my daughter had loved. And there was my beautiful daughter, that special child who we all came to see and celebrate. Dressed in an elegant gown, she glided down the aisle. Her exuded nothing but joy and anticipation, her eyes bursting with glee. A group of friends formed a circle around her as she worked the room and showered praise on their friend. Proudly nostalgic, I gazed at my daughter, a remarkable young woman now. Her broad smile and naturally warmth invited people into the presence with love and adoration. I was hoping that today would be a day when we were not sad and nothing bad happened. The program then commenced. There was a dance, an exchange of gifts and speeches along with all songs. And my husband and I were absolutely over the moon. As was my daughter, so were the guests, having a great time. She sat down on the stage, gazed at answer me. I remember turning to smile at her and whispered, "Thank you." Eventually, the host mentioned that it was time for us as parents to make our speeches and offer up gifts. I was the one to go first. I brought my daughter a music box with a bell of our favorite song of hers. She literally hugged me with a big smile on her face. "No," as Marmite poor mop read, "this is like all I have ever wanted." I was rubbing her back and kissing on the cheek. The next one was my husband. It just melts my heart to see the love and connection he has with our little one. Not with her first love, and God help him if he ever broke my daughter's heart. He gave her a locket. A daughter who loves jewelry with personal meaning. My husband put it around her neck and she opened it right away when he presented it. I wondered what was in the picture. But when I looked at my daughter and saw the horror-filled expression on her face, she was instantly crushed. Just then, as I was on my way to her, I think, she let out a tear. She spied my husband and then looked into the gathering of people. I lowered my gaze and found out that she was staring at Miss Ava. My daughter tossed the locket aside. It shattered and the image inside was exposed. My heart stumbled as I saw a picture of my husband rudely kissing Miss Ava. The guests huddled close to the locket and gasped as they saw the picture. My mother came to me and held me tight, but I let go of her grip and went to my daughter. I pulled her into my arms, and she started crying so hard. It's a picture of Dad and my teacher. I tried my best to calm her down as she almost collapsed, crying. My heart was full of rage. Everyone fell silent. The atmosphere changed from joyous to tense. I looked at my husband, and he was just standing there with no hint of remorse or guilt. I was shocked even more when he signaled Miss Ava to come forward. "How could you, Caleb?" He sheepishly gave me a mocking smile, and Bea stood next to him. He wrapped his arm around her waist. Well, the truth had to come out eventually, didn't it? Yeah, and what better way to announce our love than on our daughter's special day? It's quite romantic, Don't you think? I wanted to slap them so hard. I wanted to run towards them and kick them. Are you mad? Why does it have to be on this day? Because I want our daughter to pick. This has to be the biggest day of her life, and she has to choose between us. I will never let her come to you. You are evil. You are crazy. He just laughed. There are many reasons, actually. 1, you're boring. 2, you're too proud of yourself. And 3, you cannot sustain her needs because you have a terrible job. My heart almost stopped from everything that he said. I gave you everything, Caleb. I lowered my pride for you. I gave up my dreams for you. I was content with the job that I have now because it's what you wanted. After all, you were too proud to accept the fact that I was earning more than you. I tainted your ego, and now you cheated on me. You ruined me. And I will never forgive you for ruining my daughter's life as well. He just laughed at every word I said, as if I was joking. Bea even rolled her eyes. Fine, whatever. I cannot stand being with you anymore. Could feel my daughter's anger as she slowly stood up. Get out, both of you. Leave this party right now. With that, Caleb and Bea smirked to each other before turning around. Before they could walk out, though, they made fun of my daughter. Alice, my darling, Caleb said to me, I hope you can forgive us one day for breaking the trust between ourselves. Bea laughed with him. Yes, wouldn't want to spoil your little party. They walked out of the party and left my daughter and I there heartbroken. The guests stood, mouths agape in shock as they watched the scene play out before them, their mirth now mixed with horror and distress. We just witnessed some underscore stuff I can hardly believe. They could be such monsters. Just terrible to taunt the wife and spoil their daughter's birthday like this. It's beyond words. I picked up my daughter, and I raised her head. Her face had tears. We will brush through this, my dear. We will be powerful. Together, I whispered. We will take our revenge. It is 3 years later, and much has changed. But my daughter and I, we press on and each other given power. My daughter and I are in a much different place, happily employed. Now I can help put my daughter to college, and I'm doing so while working at the job of career dreams for me. I am an experienced accountant. I was working the job that I had always wanted to do, but my husband did not like the idea of me having a better paying job than he. It was so ridiculous. Moreover, my husband has filed for divorce throughout the years, but its approval was just confirmed recently. If they're mid-20th century boxing gloves, those shoes might be his potential brother-in-law's. And I do know that Caleb and Bea are moving to a different country. H/T contentious for the pick. Oh, please. What a bold move for the cowards that can't face reality of adultery and betrayal. They want to be with people who are completely alien, not knowing them and the truth. Furthermore, rumors hinted at Bea and Caleb tying the knot when they relocated overseas. And worse, my husband saying bad things about me to the people we know. He lies and says I am being unfaithful when in truth, that is him. Some months passed and suddenly in the post landed a peculiar RSVP card. Not to a regular post-wedding party invitation, but specifically for Caleb and Bea's wedding. NDITLASADDRESSED, to what appeared at first glance, my DEHTER. These guys have invited everyone to their wedding in the Maldives, and enclosed with each invitation was a return flight ticket back home from there. She does and took your daughter tutors, a paid job in comparison to this unpaid one. Mike wasn't willing. I never want to look at their faces again. I won't force you either. I don't trust your father, or that woman. I can't see you suffer again, and AGAN. My daughter's face, though, brightened up like she had an idea. I think we should go, Mom. Together. I was taken aback. Together? Yes, this will give us an opportunity to plan our payback. I don't understand. Just leave it to me. We are going there, and I do not care if they have not invited you. I got you, I have plans up my sleeve. The next day, my daughter told me she booked a round-trip ticket for both of us on our way to the Maldives, where we went, and then, Even though I didn't want to see them together, but for my daughter, I had no other option. Not only that, but we were owed a revenge play. Literally, the day we landed in Mail, I made a stop at jeweler there and had them make me locket of Caleb's lockets design with Lena I name buried within it like he did for my daughter. Mom, just trust me. My daughter tried to reassure me. I believed her and in all that she did, but I have to admit there was some uneasiness. That afternoon the wedding was beginning and it back to start. My daughter called the reception area for me to get in. She gave them a number and told them her person had one. They agreed. Good to know all is going well with our scheme. We were waiting in line next to other guests we did not know and some chit-chat. I did hear that Caleb finally escaped a poisonous relationship in the States. Bea is truly his soulmate. I heard his ex-wife was such a controlling and manipulative twat. Who told you? Hannah said that after Caleb and Bea's ex-husband got divorced, then he is the one who gives her love. Lies. All of these are lies. How I was just dying to expose the reality of it all. I felt a bit nervous and ready to jump out of my heart. This was our chance for my daughter and me to reveal the lie that destroyed us. All around were guests in the holiday but in great pleasure of his celebration of the good fortune couple. Beneath the mask of happiness, a great truth rested patiently to be unmasked. The wedding went on, and we had a nice way to go unnoticed because of how well mixed with the crowd we were. He did, though he had to simply because that was when the bomb was set to go off. At reception. Reception day arrived, and all of us gathered in the banquet hall. This was it, Mom, our shot at the truth and their damnation. Are you certain of this, baby? Absolutely, Mom, but they know deception no longer can be that unseen. As soon as food was presented, Ban stood up. The big smile of Caleb was not even a match with Bea's amusing face. Walking over to the couple and smiling as she handed them gift in a beautifully wrapped box. Congratulations on your wedding. I have a little surprise for you. Thank you. What's inside? Open it and find out. Their curious looks at me showed their tentative acceptance of it all, not knowing the storm they were about to unleash. What is it? The room went quiet as the couple unwrapped their present, finding a locket that plays her voice. The truth was coming. All eyes were on it, wide open and unwavering in their stare, as they waited for the drama to be revealed. The looks on their faces were nothing but shocked. Caleb and Bea took doubtful side eyes at the other, before they hit play. Congrats on your recently forming union or the soon-to-be marriage you may have planned, but long before those fancy proclamations of love we know went down in 2016, there were all these other kinds sharing tales throughout film history. It all began with an extramarital relationship, a thorough breach of trust Lucases are involved in. Your actions shattered our family, and finally it is time for the truth to be revealed. It then went on with a voice message speaking to the terror and agony it provided. There were gasps and whispers from the audience in response. None of them knew what the fuck was going on, and that poor couple looked like they wanted to fucking die. Is this true? The voice message ended, followed by hushed silence within the room. The photo of my daughter was positioned at the front, facing out to where all attendees would walk past. And then comes my announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to all know the real story of that love affair, which is being celebrated here today. The sole reason for its creation was from deceit and unfaithfulness. Where they both stood petrified in disbelief of what was happening. I can't believe it. They deceived everyone. How can they be so heartless? The more some began to whisper, shock and disappointment in their tone. If I needed a chance to raise my hand and say something. Thank you to all of you for being here today. We wanted the truth to come out for once our suffering to be known. You must not allow their actions to define you any longer. It is now time for us to come together in strength and unity. Our guests cheered us on, their encouragement heartfelt. Caleb stood up out of frustration and anger, whilst Bea was so embarrassed. You were not going to spoil our happiness like this. Donned, this wasn't how this was supposed to be. she nervously yelled. But my daughter was resolute. You have brought this upon yourselves. We are just showing the reality which you want to hide. The husband and wife would not be able to fight, fish nor flee. It was a mess, all seemed happy in the blink of an eye. Guilt and shame emerged as heavy factors. Bea hit her knees and begged. Then she pulled Caleb along to do the same. They apologized and all the girls were snapping pics of them spinning on their head. Daughter and I left them to clean up their mess. Guests clapped and some offered words of comfort as we walked away. We had stripped off the complacency and denial to illuminate the stark reality of it all, instead deciding that we would not stand by while everything they did defined us. My daughter and I found unity through the clients, promising to remain steadfast as we propelled forward stronger. We had reclaimed our power. Step by step, we were on our way mending and rebuilding. In that moment, amid the debris of a badly broken shell, we found our voice and cut loose all ties to shame. The truth had liberated us, creating new highways paved with every intent that Mom offered nurturing guidance, and I accepted it,